Hello students, welcome to YouTube channel Vidya for Success. Dear students, in this video, let us study multiple bar diagram. So what is a multiple bar diagram? So it is also a form of one-dimensional diagrams. So under one-dimensional diagrams, there are four different varieties: simple bar diagram, multiple bar diagram, component bar diagram, and percentage bar diagram. So we are studying multiple bar diagram. Let us say that in a particular year, we would like to study the number of boys as well as girls studying in a different schools, or else in multiple years we would like to know what is the percentage of pass of both boys and girls of 10th standard. Then we need to study interlinked data. We need to study two sets of data or any number of sets of data for that matter. So then we cannot go with simple bar diagram, because the reason is simple bar diagram will take into consideration a item. One item will be studied and it will be differentiating at different time periods or different time series. But here in multiple bar diagrams, it is used to represent various sets of interlinked data. Okay, so if you want to study various sets of interlinked data, then multiple bar diagram will be used. And here also we are going to erect rectangular bars on the x-axis. But here, instead of considering only one rectangular bar for a particular period, we will be considering multiple rectangular bars for a given period. Okay, so he will be considering set of adjacent bars. Not adjacent bars are nothing but each rectangular bar will be constructed next to each other without giving any space for one particular period. Okay, and followed by that, here in case if you want to differentiate these adjacent bars from one another, then these rectangular bars can be shaded with a particular color, or else you can go with crisscrossing them or using coming up with different patterns so that we can differentiate. So when are you going to use a multiple bar diagram? When you want to when you want to represent the interlinked data. So if that is a scenario, then we can go with multiple bar diagrams. Now let us consider a few examples. So here I consider a table. As you can notice here, it is a table indicating the production of food grains in different time periods. So in terms of tons, so production of we are considering the food grains like rice, ragi, wheat. Okay, and all of them are considered for different time periods. For the year 2008, what was the production of rice, ragi, and wheat? Similarly, for 2008, what was the production of rice, ragi, and wheat? Similarly for 2010. So as you can notice here, there is no one piece of data. In case if there was only one food grain, that is rice, then no problem, we would have gone with simple bar diagram. But now we are having three different food grains: rice, ragi, and wheat. And in case if the user wants us to compare what happened with what is the production with comparing with rice and ragi, or rice with wheat, or ragi and wheat, like that in a particular time period, then we cannot go with simple bar diagram. Then we have to choose a multiple bar diagram. Okay, so before constructing the bar diagram, that is graphical diagram, we need to consider the scale. So what will be the scale? So here we will be erecting the rectangular bars. How we are going to erect them? It will be erected vertically on the x-axis. This is the x-axis and this will be the y-axis. So we will be considering the rectangular bars and they will be erected on the x-axis. So what should be the length of each rectangular bar, that is height of each rectangular bar? So the height of each rectangular bar will be corresponding to the magnitude of the item or the data. So that's why we need to consider the scale. So what will be the y-axis? What will happen with the y-axis? What does they indicate? So let us say that here production is given in terms of tons. So 150 tons, 120 tons, 200 tons. So we need to go with a y-axis. What should be the maximum height of this y-axis? So here the maximum height is let us say 280 tons is the maximum value given in the table. So in order to represent a diagram, multiple bar diagram in a sheet of paper or in a graph sheet, we need to consider the scale. So here we are considering scale y-axis. 1 centimeter will be equivalent to 50 tons. So what does it mean? It means 1 centimeter will be indicating what? 50 tons. So here I have constructed a table. What type of bar diagram it is? It is a multiple bar diagram. How can you say this is a multiple bar diagram? Because as you can notice, there are multiple bars here. Please notice here there are multiple rectangular bars. Okay, so please notice here. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So y-axis, for the y-axis we have considered the scale. What is the scale? 1 centimeter is equal to 50 tons. So 1 centimeter is equal to how much? 50 tons. So 50 tons, 100 tons, 150 tons, like that. So if you are having a bigger width of, or else bigger paper width is little bit high, then you can consider little bit more scale. I mean to say, you can go with 1 centimeter is equal to 25 tons or else 10 tons. It is left to you. But here I have gone with 50 tons for 1 centimeter. Okay. So now for each time period, for example 2008, 2009 and 2010, we have constructed different rectangular bars. So for year 2008, the rice is 150 tons, ragi is 120 tons and wheat is 200 tons. As you can notice here, in a time period for 2008, I have erected rectangular bars adjacent to each other, next to each other, without giving any space. Okay, so this complete data is of 2008. Okay, and also here I have considered the index. So the blue color indicates rice and the orange color indicates ragi and the gray color indicates white. Okay, always your table must have these index so that the user can easily identify which rectangular bar indicates what. In case if you are unable to say color it out, usually in the graph sheets we will not be coloring them, so we will be considering certain shades. Either you can draw lines horizontal or vertical, or else you can put certain dots like that, or floating lines, so you can differentiate them. Okay, but the lines or else the pattern should match from one period to another period. For example, instead of blue, if I have gone with diagonal lines for the rice, a rectangular bar for rice, the same thing should be considered for 2009 period as well, and also for 2010. So same thing should go with ragi as well. For ragi, I may be considering different pattern. Same thing followed for 2009 as well as 2010. Okay, so here the adjacent bars are erected next to each other and they indicate what these data are linked to a particular time period. So these data are linked to the time period 2008. So here also they are linked to the time period 2009, next year 2010. Okay, so this is what multiple bar diagrams means. And also between each time period, as you can notice, there is a width given, and this width should be equal for all the time periods, So this is how you are going to construct a multiple bar diagram. Okay, in the horizontal axis I have considered the time periods, in the vertical axis I have considered the production in terms of tons. So everything should be neatly mentioned in your graph sheets. Followed by this, consider one more example. So now we need to represent this data given in the table, that is population in millions of different religion. So here we have considered 4 different religions: Hindu, Muslim, Christian and other religion. Okay, so we will be representing them with which particular diagram. There is no single data, since there are multiple data corresponding to each particular time period, so we have to go with multiple bar diagram, also referred as compound bar diagram. So first of all we need to consider the scale. So what is the scale here? Here 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 millions, because the population is given in terms of millions. So 82 millions, like this. Okay, so the highest value is around 82.7 million is the highest value here. So I'll be going with the y-axis. 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 millions. So this is how I am constructing the multiple bar diagram. So in the horizontal axis I have considered the time periods 1971, 1981, 1991. In the y-axis I have considered the population in terms of millions. 1 centimeter y-axis is equal to 10 millions. So total 90 millions can be represented here. Okay, and each color represent a particular each color represent particular religion: Hindu, blue color, like Muslim, orange color, like that. Consider them. So in case if you are unable to use colors in your graph sheets, you can go with different shading or different patterns. That is also possible. So as you can notice, for the time period 1971, I have represented 4 different religions, and these rectangular bars, they are erected adjacent to each other. After one time period, that is 1971, I have given a width. This width is equivalent to the next width. Okay, so this is how you are going to construct a multiple bar diagram. What is the use of multiple bar diagram? It is used to represent various sets of interlinked data. Data needs to be interlinked. Okay, so then you will be considering the multiple bar diagram. So with this, I am ending this video. Thank you.